Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at weather next week to 10 days for today's second video. This is going to take us to around the 28th of May, but we'll be able to extend out beyond that actually with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles running to around a couple of weeks. We'll also have a look at the ZBES V2 for the next month as well. So, busy old day at Gasweb is coming up today. We've already released weekend broadcasts, of course, as always on a Saturday, your weekend look ahead. This evening, we're going to have the CFS 6 months look ahead. That's, of course, going 6 months ahead with the CFS V2 on. It takes us from next month, from June, and go right way through to November with that one. And we'll also have an update for the late spring bank holiday weekend coming up this evening as well. So a really, really busy day. Hope you're enjoying all of the videos. But this second week to 10 day video update is going to start off having a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from the Penn State University. So we've got the ECMWF here on the top, and the GFS, which you'll have a look in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 80 miles meters area in the atmosphere, high pressure and low pressure, have been moved around by the jet stream. Orange and red extrapolates to above average heights, which is high pressure, and blue extrapolates to below average heights, which is low pressure. So you can see that we've got in the week to 10 day time frame, of course, it's taking us into kind of like the final days of the month, really. We've got above average heights in the Atlantic, a mid-Atlantic ridge, moving up towards Greenland just there. And they've got below average heights sitting sort of over and to the east and southeast of the coast. So there's a big trough within the 500 millibar flow. The jet stream will be going something a little bit like that. So that looks pretty unsettled, I have to say, in the sort of days 7 to 10 time frame. That does look unsettled. You'll be expecting showers or longer spells of rain, and quite cool air being pushed into that trough of below average heights too. GFS is similar, but there are some differences. So that trough over and to the east and southeast of us is nowhere near as deep. What we actually have is the ridge again in the Atlantic, but less of a ridge going up towards Greenland. And so it's all slightly flatter, really. The high pressure is down to our southwest. We've got the jet stream running in over top of it into the UK, and so that just looks rather changeable, I would have thought. You'd expect at least showery bursts of rain to be coming in with that. The high pressure down here, that's the Azores high, it is trying to throw up a ridge, but of course as long as the jet stream rolls in over top of it like that, then the ridge is going to struggle to get going. You really need to send the jet stream north. You need to send the jet stream up there to allow this ridge of high pressure to move in that sort of direction. It might be the start of a bit more influence from the Azores high, but it's a little bit inconclusive, really, whether that would in fact be the start of the Azores high starting to ridge in for the summer. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London, starting off quite close to average at the moment, just generally staying quite close to average, really, from beginning to end. So that's where we are at the start of it. This is where we are at the end of it. Very little deviation, you'll see, throughout the whole of the ensemble chart, really. So upper air temperature is not going to be doing anything particularly exciting in the next few days. Late on, as we go to the very end of May and the start of June, we do have one or two ensemble members that are becoming a bit hotter. So those are hot outliers. But conversely, we've got some that are quite cool down here. So it's a little bit of a split. It's very inconclusive, really. I think we can say temperatures aren't going to be doing anything particularly exciting in the next week to 10 days. They will be quite warmish to start off with over the next few days, and then probably lowering as we head towards the late spring bank holiday weekend. It does still look unsettled, so you'll see down here you've got regular precipitation spikes really from beginning to end. There might be a slight drying trend starting to appear there around the beginning of June, but of course that is like 2 weeks away, so that's very, very extended range stuff. Before that, the rest of May looks generally quite unsettled, I have to say. with regular sort of precipitation spikes. Looking particularly unsettled, unfortunately, around the bank holiday weekend these days just here. So that's not a very good signal for the late spring bank holiday weekend. As I say, we'll have more about that with today's fourth and final video update, and that'll be the fourth update for the late spring bank holiday weekend, probably released around 7 o'clock this evening. Temperature anomalies from the 18th to the 26th of May, close to average. Again, not a big deviation as we've been seeing with these charts a lot in recent days. So if anything, northern parts of the country might be ever so slightly on the milder than average side. Southern parts of the country might be ever so slightly on the cooler than average side. But again, it isn't a big deviation. Essentially, temperature anomalies are very, very close to average for the week, commencing the 18th through to the 26th of May. Precipitation anomalies look quite unsettled though now, so from the 18th to the 26th of May, generally a little bit above average with precipitation for much of the UK, telling us the weather seems to be turning increasingly unsettled through the final week to 10 days of May. This is how the GFS operational run is looking for Tuesday. This will cover by weekend forecast, of course. Rather showery on Tuesday, but a slight bump of high pressure, just a transient little ridge, could give us a better day for Wednesday before low pressure heads in off the Atlantic through Thursday. And that low pressure is right over top of the country on Friday. That will bring showers or longer spells of rain and cooler air from off the Atlantic too. Into the late spring bank holiday weekend, so staying unsettled. The winds in from the northwest are going to be pretty cool. If this is right, we've got further sort of shallow areas of low pressure close to the country. They could bring more showers through this bank holiday weekend. By bank holiday Monday, that ridge down to the southwest that we saw on the 500 millibar height on the flow chart from Penn State University, but it's just starting to try and throw up a ridge into the country. So by bank holiday Monday, 27th of May, we might see the showers just beginning to ease down a little bit. That's a chart for day 10, which is Tuesday 28th of May. Generally a bit of a north-south split. High pressure down to our southwest, low pressure up to the north. Still looks rather showery and quite cool, particularly for northern parts of the country. And then in the more extended range, just looking cool and unsettled, really, going through to the very end of May. Right at the very end, this is 384 hours away, as far as we can go, to Monday the 3rd of June. Then we just see signs of some high pressure building to our east, low pressure being blocked out to west, and that will start to bring in much warmer, even hotter air from the south. However, of course, that's over 2 weeks away, so I mean, it is not to be relied upon at all. That is just a suggestion there on this latest GFS run, but it does end up with a hotter spell in the first week of June. But before that, it's quite cool and showery for the rest of May. This is how the parallel GFS run is looking. So again, Tuesday rather showery, everything looking rather slack, building up a little bit of a transient ridge on Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday look unsettled with low pressure in from off the Atlantic, bringing outbreaks of rain and also potentially showers. Saturday may be slightly better day, but there's more low pressure out in the Atlantic. And that low pressure heads in on Sunday. This is bank holiday weekend Sunday as well. That's bringing outbreaks of rain in from off the Atlantic. And that looks pretty grim for bank holiday Monday. That's Monday 27th of May. I've got a trough of low pressure over top of the country. So obviously that's very unsettled with showers and maybe longer spells of rain too. What a contrast to the Easter weekend this will be. Beyond that, into day 10, we again go rather flat with westerly winds bringing showery conditions, particularly to the north and west. And then in the more extended range, heading towards the end of May and the beginning of June. Again, just a suggestion, we started to build up a little bit of a ridge. This time we've got a ridge out of the Atlantic, but it is sending that ridge through the UK and up towards northern Europe. So that's a drier and warmer start to June again. There might be a little bit of a trend here within the model output for things to turn a little bit drier and warmer, at least temporarily, in the opening days of June. That's a GFS operational run for the 3rd of June. That's a GFS parallel run for the 3rd of June. So they do differ in their scenarios, but both of them are turning things a bit drier and warmer through the opening days of next month. ECMWF only going up to day 10, of course, with this one. Again, rather showery and very slack on Tuesday. Could be a little bit of a transient ridge, giving us a drier day for Wednesday. But then low pressures in off the Atlantic through Thursday and Friday, bringing wet weather in from the west. By Saturday, the low pressures in the North Sea, and we're pulling down these cool and showery northerly winds, staying cool and showery into Bank Holiday weekend Sunday as well. And evening to Bank Holiday Monday, actually, the wind's still in from the north, so it still looks pretty cool, and you expect more showers even then, particularly for northern and eastern parts of the country. That's how we finish up at day 10. Which, as we saw on the 500 millibar height anomaly from Penn State University, does look rather cool and showery winds still coming from a northerly direction, not particularly inspiring. Bank holiday weekend. These are the options that we've got on the table from the ECMWF ensemble. So this is from the Icelandic Met Office, of course. This is taking us to day 10, 240 hours away, which today is the 28th of May. We've got 15 members of the ECM ensembles, including the control and operational runs. The operational run being the run we're just looking at, of course, that have the above average heights out to our west and up to Greenland, below average heights over and to the east of the country, so cool and showery conditions as we saw with that ECM operational run. Cool and showery conditions up to day 10. We have 11 members of the ECM ensembles that just have that ridge a little bit closer to us from the west. Still quite cool, really. The winds are still coming in from a north-northwesterly direction, but it is slightly more settled. That's a stronger ridge sitting just out to our west. We've got 9 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure ridging through the Atlantic like that. So again, they're quite cool, relatively dry, but there could be showers involved. 9 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure more towards the southwest. Might be a little bit flatter with those, maybe bringing showery conditions in from off the Atlantic. And then finally, we've got 7 that does have quite a nice ridge from the Azores high. These are the driest and warmest option on the table for day 10. Jet stream is pushed north of us there with that scenario, so we are on the warm side of the jet. We'd be drier and warmer with that one. But there's only 7 of those going in that direction. Generally, most of these ensemble members look rather cool and showery at day 10. And then let's go towards 2 weeks away. This takes us to 360 hours away, which is the 2nd of June. Well, it gets rather strange. We've got 51 out of 51, 100% of ECM ensemble members coming up with this scenario, which does look rather strange. There's some above average heights in the Atlantic up towards Greenland, very weakly. Otherwise, not much else going on. I suspect that would still be rather showery, potentially a little bit on the cool side still, as we go into the opening days of June. That's a very strange looking chart. Finally, just have a look at CFSV2 for the next month. So these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly pairs. The first weekly pair takes us from the 18th to the 24th of May. The coming week with above average heights to the north and below average heights to the south. Winds in that sort of direction. So talking about showery conditions really in the coming week. And then we go through to week 2, which is the 25th to the 31st of May, with above average heights then out to the northwest of us. Quite cool, bring wind in from a northerly or northwesterly direction. It's not particularly unsettled because high pressure is just out to our west, so we're blocked off the Atlantic. But I suspect it will be showery with those northerly winds. Temperatures will probably be quite cool. Week 3 is the 1st to the 7th of June, and we have above average heights just out to our west, bringing in the winds from a west-northwesterly direction. Again, a lot of dry weather would be on offer with that, but not particularly warm. And then we go through to week 4, and this looks like summer. This is the 8th to the 14th of June. Then we have above average heights ridging through the country and going up to our northeast as well. That would send the jet stream off up north. We go on to the warm side of the jet. We'd be under a ridge of high pressure, and that is proper summer there in the second week of June. However, that's 4 weeks away, so it is very unreliable, and I wouldn't be particularly confident about that coming off. It does look as though the rest of May is generally quite cool and showery, which isn't a surprise based on a lot of the model output that we've been seeing over the next few days, over the past few days, I should say. So, the coming sort of week to 10 days, expect cool, showery conditions. Could turn actually very unsettled for the late spring bank holiday weekend, which is a little bit of a concern, but more about that in today's fourth and final video update will be coming up this evening. Possibly a few hints at for early June. We might start to see something a bit drier and warming appearing. GFS in particular looks like it's heading in that direction, but we're talking about 2 weeks away, so I wouldn't be overly confident about that. We'll obviously be keeping an eye on that in the days ahead. Right, so that's it for your second video update. We'll be back with CFS 6 o'clock at around 5 o'clock this evening, and then around 7 o'clock we're going to have that fourth update for the late spring bank holiday weekend. Tomorrow, another busy day coming up tomorrow. Actually, we've got the 10th and final analogues update for the summer of 2019. That's looking at ENSO analogues this week. We're also going to have Gazzo's Study Roundup, and there'll be an update looking at the ECMWF, Meteo France and DWD long-range models for the summer and into the autumn too. So busy day of updates tomorrow, more sort of on the longer range side of things though. Keep checking back to all the videos. Hope you're enjoying the content. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.